special guest, Sergio Pop.
Hi.
And I say in English because Sergio has already got thousands of videos in this same channel, La Caja de Pandora, or the Box of Pandora. He's got also lots of videos in his personal channel, Sergio Monor, in YouTube. Sergio is a Spanish-Greek architect, but he's also a therapist, a researcher, and a writer. And today we are here to present his book, Monor, where Sergio goes back to our origins, linguistically speaking, to decode our language and to understand why we have been programmed in such a negative way, right? Sergio comes from an important family in Constantinople, and that is why he has developed a thirst for ancient knowledge. His great-great-grandfather, was he?
Yes.
Okay.
Great-grandfather.
Okay. He was a royal interpreter, and he could speak how many languages?
14.
Wow.
14 languages.
14. So, as you can see, linguistics was already in his veins. Monor was originally written in Spanish and then translated in Portuguese by our friend Simone and in English with my collaboration. So, Sergio, tell us, what moved you to write this book?
Well, I've always been really curious about our origins, because how can we know where we are going if we don't know where we are coming from?
Exactly.
You know, Rosanna, I've always felt this kind of information has been hidden to us.
So what is your aim with this book?
Well, I started to do a personal research, and then I saw this information was so shocking and valuable that I thought I couldn't keep it for myself. And I decided to share it with the rest of the world.
Okay, thank you for sharing it. Then you're not going to stop here, we imagine.
No.
You want to translate Monor in more languages.
For sure, for sure.
Okay.
For sure, I want to help everybody to find the truth as I did.
So, let's explain to the audience, what is the main idea of Monor?
Well, this book has been a research of our programming, that is to say, language. Since this is the tool we use to communicate between ourselves, I've realized and felt languages are incoherent. So when we talk and when we say a word, we think we are telling something, but the meaning is a different one. And without knowing it. So in the end, the other person understands another thing. This is Babylonians' misunderstanding.
It is a hoax.
Is it?
So, for you, the origin of all this started in Sumer's civilization, right?
Yes, I think most of the languages started in summer.
Not in summer.
Not in
on
summer.
Holidays.
Not in vacation. No. There could have been a pre-Sumerian too. Sumerian evolved, grosso modo, into Akkadian, and later on into Babylonian and Assyrian. Subsequently, it evolved into Arabic and Hebrew on one hand, and Greek and Saxon on the other hand.
Very interesting. So where does the word Saxon come from?
Well, Saxon comes from the Greek word saxas, which means to fill, charge, equip, supply, and fortify.
We have to say that Sergio is also an expert on dead languages.
Well, I prefer to call them mother tongues, which are really the linguas francas and biting ones that go straight into our subconscious our mental programming.
And we have to say that he's also an expert on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah.
Also biodecoding, Ericksonian hypnosis, all related to linguistics.
Yeah.
Since you can program people through language. So, let's start with some explanations of this great theory of yours and the origin of words.
Well, all this is like a PC program. There is always one in every PC. So, in the same way, we have a source code and we have been programmed through it, like biocomputers or biorobots. We are using a tool that programs our subconscious, even if we are biological beings. But I noticed that there are two types of languages, one for our consciousness and another one for our subconscious. First, we use the consciousness. The consciousness one is in every day, with the meaning we are always told and provoking misunderstandings. And later we have the crypto language, the coherent one, that is used by the system to give us orders, since we act for their own interest.
Okay.
So when we want to be autonomous with our language, we won't go really far. But when we have to accomplish order, they talk to us in another language to observe those orders. In this way, we have been manipulated without being aware of it. That is why many people do the opposite of what they have told before, and here comes the conflict.
And this is the origin of illnesses.
Of course, I realized it's impossible to get out of this conflict unless we talk coherently, and if we don't do it, we'll become ill.
I see.
Ill, I-L, in Semitic languages means divinity. Then, if you want to reach your inner divinity, the program orders you to turn yourself into a disease.
Then, Sergio, which words should we use? Because people may think now we should probably make up a new language or even more, talk in Sumerian.
No, because nobody would understand you, and it is not necessary, is my opinion. It's complicated to find coherence. We should try to follow our instincts and use the words we think are more positive for us, but never the negatives ones.
So, in the end, it's a question of emotions.
Exactly. Every one of us will be able to connect with our own emotions through the thymus. Here it is.
The thymus, okay.
To find our personal words. But to achieve this, we have to go away from logic. Logic is not the correct matter, how we could think, since logic comes from logos, the word,
Logic.
which is twisted.
Okay. And what about the words no and but? Because in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, we are told that these two words cancel all the previous information.
Yes, we have but associated with bad. Every time you make an objection with the word but, you are considering others' opinion like a bad one. And then you are probably starting a conflict. And no, N-O, in our source code means light and energy.
Unbelievable. As you can see, this new information Sergio is giving to us is really astonishing. And this is very well explained in your book, right?
Of course. Sometimes when we say we don't want this, it comes even quicker toward us. So if we say no, I'm feeling what I don't really want, and our energy is being taken away. I'm going to explain it a little bit more.
Thank you.
Logos comes from Greek and it means word. The word is linked with war. So here comes the conflict again.
With war.
War. Fight. You start to speak and your mind becomes sick, full of disturbances, and that is reflected in your reality.
So how have we been thrown out of coherence?
Through fear. We live in constant confusion. We live a tilted life. To the left or to the right? To the left or to the right? Left, right, okay? This is important. But never concentrated in the middle. And more often to the right. To your right, okay?
Yeah, because we are in the opposite way of our audience.
That is. Let me tell you something about brain hemispheres. We are told to always remain on the right side of life, to be mental beings, because the left side of our brain is the irrational and the creative one, which is dangerous for them. We are forced to drive on the right side, except if we are British.
It's clear.
To write with our right hand. To fight for our rights, which are mental, are not creative. Usually we are taught that our left brain side is the rational one, but after having analyzed our language program, I have realized that our left brain side is the quantum irrational one, and the right brain side is the rational and objective one.
Totally the opposite we were always told.
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Why British are allowed to drive on the left side of the road?
As I have already said, the left side of the brain is the creative one, the one that is connected with quantum. Therefore, it is the one that has the power to implement innovations in our reality, like creating new neuropath using the left side.
Neuropaths.
The path.
Okay.
In addition, the word Brittany comes from the Greek one Brittany,
Brittany with P.
with P, which means sovereign and royal. Consequently, the British strength lies in their code, as we can see. And we accept the name Brittany because it is in our ancestral memory. It is in our Greek lineage, as I have explained before. SAXN comes from Greek, grosso modo.
Okay.
Now I'm going to give you some examples on neurolinguistic programming. We have, for example, we have the word Spain is pain with pain. Or pain.
Pain in our heart also.
That's why Spanish I reject it sometimes, because people don't want pain from them. Nobody wants pain.
Except nobody.
For instance, if we talk about names and surnames, we also have the surname Smith. Linked with Smite, it is curious. Smite and smile. Smile and smite. And is a smile a previous thread? If we continue with NLP, we can see more examples. Like worrying with worry, to live upset. And means opposite, like unlucky, unhappy. Ashley, linked with ash. Or Alfred, with afraid. Billy, full of bills to pay.
Nobody wants to go with Billy.
Nobody.
Billy.
Bruce with Bruce.
With the Bruce.
Candy with Kandai. Diana, die. Can you understand?
Yeah.
Or even more, Diana. Fox linked with bats.
Foxy lady.
Foxy lady.
A bitch.
Catherine with cat. Killian with kill. Harvey, hard to be. Or Madeline, Madison, mad with mad. Mike, my ache. I have an headache.
And Lucy?
Lucy with Lucifer.
Lucy, Lucifer. Wow.
O'Neill, Neil. And now I realize, for example, that in a tennis match, instead of saying 0 or nil, they say love. Why? Does love count anything?
Keep on, keep on.
Randall, Randy, always on the run. Or Harry, always in a hurry. Robert, Robbie, Robin, Robinson. Does anybody think you are a robber? You are a robber?
You are Robin.
Sadie with sadness, crying. Wayne with wine. Yeah. I remember John Wayne.
We always thought he was drinking whiskey, but he was drinking wine, Mr.
Maybe.
Wayne.
Maybe. William, Willie, Wilson. Will I am ill? Is this my future?
So, this is the reason why people use nicknames, no? To run away from our programming.
Well, in this case we are talking about NLP that works with phonetic links. And if we talk about dichotomy good and bad, we have the word good, which is linked with God. And you could tell me that the pronunciation is a bit different. But I can show you another example like moon and Monday, which means the day of the moon.
Let's remember that the word day comes from the Latin word Deus, that means God.
The god of the moon. So in the end, our brain recognizes Monday and Moon Day has the same word. That is an example of neuro-linguistic association. On the other hand, we find bad, linked with bad. Bad. Which represents symbolically the devil and vampire. It is curious that bad in Sumerian means open. Can you understand? They program us to be open is bad.
This is a good beginning for people to understand how we have been programmed. So we have to close our feelings so harmony between human beings doesn't exist.
Yes, then we have in one side the good God and the bad devil. But God comes from the Sumerian word God, which means bull and zebu, an epithet of Beelzebub, the devil also. So God and the devil are the same entity.
Astonishing. Why do you have expressions such as between two evils you have to choose the lesser of two evils? Why are we always forced to choose between two evils instead of two benefits?
Well, we shouldn't play this game. This dichotomy, and what is even more, the lesser of two evils is to lose under the influence of the devil. You are still trapped in evil.
I see. Okay. And what about to live in a continent like America, Africa, or another one? Does it really mean anything?
Not really. At the end, what we are looking for is our own center to feel ourselves all right, to be happy and to feel fullness. This is our final aim. We have decided to seek the truth because we have seen there is something wrong, something that doesn't work, and we are trying to find solutions. But it's true that there is a difference between North America and South America.
Really?
North comes from Nor, N-O-R, Nor, N-O-R, which means light. And South comes from a Latin word, Saucio, which means hurt and damage. And now check out the actuality, if it's true or not. In SAXN programming, Africa means no free, like slavery. A is a prefix which means not.
What it really doesn't work is that we call ourselves human beings.
Not at all. I'm going to start with a Sumerian pictogram. The evangelical ones, will recognize it. This is encoded as Na, N-A, that means human being, linked with our words like nation, nature, native. My name tells me my aim.
Name?
Aim. But later, we are told we are nothing. Nothing. So we feel bad and empty. But you know that you are something, a human being. And this leads us to a complete confusion. In English, no and O cancels the sense of humanity and our light, which represent our energy, our power. We are told we are none. Can you understand?
Yeah.
They extrapolate this word to all the contemporary languages. And as an example of this, we have the French word nas, that means idiot and kaput. And in Greek, na, N-A, na is like that, is a very offensive insult.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if I call you human being, you are refusing your own identity because you don't want to be called na. They are depersonalizing because to be able to manipulate somebody, first of all, you have to go to their weak points and then manipulate them. Therefore, you make them believe they are going through the best way possible. Here we can see how much they love us. Nothing.
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 Our public must wonder who you mean when we say they. We'll talk later on who these entities are.
Yes, later.
Okay.
Then if you bring light here, in your reality, you are getting away from their dark frequencies. We also have the word terrorist, or O-R, means service and also light in Sumerian. Or. Later, condensed light was symbolically assigned to this word. Gold. In the word gold. Since in the end, terror means light on terra, the earth. In Latin tongues, or means light, and in Hebrew also. So, it is terror for them, not for us. It's for them. If we bring light on earth and we empower ourselves, they will have to leave because they can't enter in our frequencies.
Then.
Our bubble.
Okay. Then, what we think is harmful for us, talking about words, is good.
Right. What happens is that they reflect and focus their fears on us, the so-called system. When they want to fight against something, they tell us it is not good for us. And we go away from it in a subconscious level. But in the end, we are keeping off our benefit. We are being manipulated to their own advantage. At present, we have the fight against ISIS, for example. It is to be twice. They want you to fight against your existence to become nothing. By the way, as you can see, the system always uses Greek names to manipulate our subconscious.
It's true.
Whose linguistic program is Greek. Therefore, a positive thing like being a double being, a super being, is seen like a terrorism organization. And we run away from it. On the other hand, we are symbolically fighting against the goddess Isis, who represents the Virgin Mary in our tradition. They program us illnesses with some words like cancer, which means dragon snake. When we suffer from cancer, the predator of humans is attacking our being. I can affirm that that disease doesn't exist. It is all programmed with words. And if you believe it, it will work on you.
But for us, cancer means instantly death. And if the doctor tells us we suffer from cancer, we are gonna die for sure.
Exactly. In Sumerian program, cancer means celestial evolution, the evolution of our species. We can break down cancer and we have Ka'an, that means being celestial, and Ser, that in Sumerian and in Latin tongues means to be. They want to block this positive program to us. And they also corrupt this word with the dragon meaning in the end.
Impossible to find our inner self. Amazing, isn't it?
I can say too that the body evolves by natural law and we get new information from the sun. This is why we are told to put sunscreen, to be protected from the information given by the photons and light. Phos in Greek.
But Sergio, sometimes if we go to the beach, we get burned.
Because you have decided so.
How can we reprogram this?
Well, Rosanna, this is a metabolic and mental process, but also organic. But it's a process. It implies you cannot change it suddenly. If you also decide water burns, you will have an ulcer in 1 month because we, as human beings, have a maximum creative potential, and even more above yourself. You can mobilize all your organism in a quantum way, but the problem is that we are not in coherence. We should be able to reorganize ourselves as divine beings we are, by the law of free choice. I repeat, by the law of free choice. But we can't so far, because the tool we have been given to auto-program us, language, is defective. Because even when you are in silence at night, you are talking to yourself, and you get more confused. For example, let's remember Eve biting the apple in paradise.
Eve.
Apple in Greek is Milo. But Milo also means to talk. So, our language is our gag, our poison. The same as love, that in Greek comes from the word lob, meaning an insult. Outrage, humiliation, shame, mutilation, destruction, and ruin. Can you believe it?
Very beautiful, all of this.
Then I understand why sometimes somebody tells you I love you and you run away from him or her.
Very quickly.
In our source code in Summer Civilization, AG means love. We have in English agree, which is a positive word. But agree in NLP is linked also with aggressive. Then, now I understand why sometimes when you want to express your feelings, you end up doing it with aggression.
So, how we could say it in a correct way?
You have to feel it better than saying it. And now I see why speaking was forbidden in monasteries.
Or when we are meditating.
Yes. Because when you speak, you get dirty. Everything gets polluted because we are not in coherence.
So, we better communicate with telepathy between ourselves.
Yes. And it could happen that our faculties or power have diminished because we are using tools from the Stone Age. It's like if you had a Ferrari in your garage and you went with an old Toyota to go for a ride. Toco, 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 toco.
Before going to the reset matter and why they have given us language, you told me there were 3 incoherences in our languages. Could you please explain us that?
Well, the first one happens in NLP where words are linked phonetically, like mother and smother. Smother the mother.
Poor mother.
Words generate a conflict in our mind.
Then, domestic violence is being generated in this way.
Yes. The second one has to deal with collective conflict between different languages. For example, to bless in English and blesser in French. That means to hurt. Then, when I bless you, I'm programming a wound in you. And the third one is related to historical semantics of language, like the word truth, which comes from the Latin trux, truthis, meaning fierce, wild, cruel, furious, terrible. It is curious that true in French means whole, true. Is this your reality? Do you really want to be there?
In the hole.
In the hole. Dans le trou. In French, dans le trou. Every word has an order implicit in it. Or we had better say multiple orders. Because every word contains different meanings. What we technically understand like polysemy.
In the end, they are not just mere coincidences.
No. Thousands.
Thousands.
They created grammatical rules and later on they broke them. They created a cognitive brick to confuse us, and therefore, as we are dissociated between our consciousness and our subconscious, we cannot understand anything. We live in two different levels. The one we believe we are in, and then our reality. For example, there is a grammatical rule with in, I-N. that means inside in some languages. So we have include, incorporate, introduce, insert, integrate inside yourself, induce, insufflate, inspire, invite inside my home, invite inside my home, inhale, inject. But if I want to be capable, I will be
incapable.
If I want to be effective,
Ineffective.
if I want to complete something, it will be
Incomplete.
forever. If you want to be comprehensible,
Incomprehensible.
and if you want something to be convenient, it will become.
Inconvenient.
If you want to be tolerable, you become
Intolerable.
inside yourself. Can you understand? Coherent,
Incoherent.
flexible.
Inflexible.
If I want to integrate a correct thing,
Incorrect.
secure,
Insecure.
decisive,
Indecisive.
digestible,
Indigestible.
valid,
Invalid.
finite.
Infinite. So finite is infinite at the end.
Yes. Yes.
And what about immortal? Because our subconscious doesn't make the distinction between in, I-N, and im, I-M, right?
Yes. Because ime, I-M-E, in Greek means I am. Therefore, with immortal, you die for sure.
Wow. Why do you think they do all these to us?
Well, they want to weaken us, and then we lose our power. We doubt about ourselves, and we enter in a state of confusion. In this way, they can guide us wherever they want. They want us as puppets.
What can we do? How can we free ourselves from this programming?
The only solution I can see is not to get implied emotionally with any word. This is the reason I've written this book.
This book.
For our subconscious to understand it, to get rid of the gag, and to be able to feel freely. For example, if you want to feel happiness, go back to your childhood when you were not too able to talk, and compare it with your present, and you will see all the resistances you have now. Because when you couldn't talk, you were able to feel. You flew naturally, without barriers. But now, they have introduced a tangle of frequencies that blocks our way to feel in a free way. But for me, the origin of our civilization, with a lot of lies, civilization and lies, is the Mediterranean region, Anatolia, and the Black Sea. We can't forget that the first Sumerian cities, Eridu, Ur, and Uruk, were dated 6,000 years ago, and now we find cities like Jericho and Bibles also in the Mediterranean region 8,000 or 9,000 years old. By the way, the word Bible comes from this last city, Byblos.
Okay.
We have also Katar-Huyuk in Anatolia, between 9,000 and 10,000 years old. In Arcadia, Greece, we find the city of Lycosura, where the Greek writer Pausanias told us it was the oldest city in this world and previous to the last glaciation. Therefore, we go farther than 12,000 years.
12,000. Okay.
Talking about civilization, I stay with the word lie, and I wonder why lie appears in the following words.
Surprises.
Like, I like to lie. Life, is your life a fake? Is your life fake? And later you feel ache. Ache. Or light. Is our inner light false? And if you want to enlighten yourself or get energy, do you have to lie? Is light darkness in the end? What would you like? It's also a lie. Are you hurting yourself? And the top one is to rely on somebody. I is a prefix meaning to do something again. That is to say, lie and lie and lie. Then our program says to be liable is to be able to lie. Checkmate.
Another system could be to work every word to get rid of beliefs.
Yes, but first of all, we will have to achieve an agreement. Because if you decide to talk in your new way, nobody will understand you. The solution to live in this matrix, this jail, is to understand this farce in which we have been trapped. We have to feel freely, and like that, our subconscious will be in coherence. It is change that can be done in a quantum way, in an instant, or in a long period work. It depends on everyone's resistance. The most important thing is to feel without logic.
You mean acting from the heart and not from the mind?
Exactly. But the word heart is linked with the word heart. And hard, so.
So we have heart,
Heart,
hurt,
hurt,
and hard.
and heart.
Okay.
All mixed. Neurolinguistically, we are being taken away from our feelings. It's like we had an electro valve. Our heart is a pump, but the sensor is the thymus, the one that connects with our souls, and the soul is our emotional body.
That is why, when you are under stress, you have a pain in your thymus.
Right, because the soul is suffering. For example, have you realized that when women get frightened, they cover their thymuses? Because they are protecting their souls, but not their heads. We have also been taught to wear necklaces with amulets to cover our thymuses, when the real amulet, the protector of the human being, is the thymus. Our emotional energy, our power.
Amazing. now we can't see how we can decode our matrix.
Well, what I have seen that they know us better than we do.
Do you think they are our creators?
No. They are not our creators because a real creator doesn't do that. Only a manipulator could do it. But if you believe they are your creators, they will subdue you and you will give them your power through religion or another way.
By the way, the word religion, does it mean anything?
Well, it comes from the Latin word lego, that means bind and join. And re is a prefix that means to do something again. So it means to bind me to do dogma.
Where do we find ourselves right now? What is this society for?
Well, they present us new paradigms that we accept and we fall into the trap. But we are not able to choose. They have broken the only cosmic universal law for mankind, the law of free choice. In our source code, we can call ourselves monada. We can affirm we are in an electromagnetic imprisonment. Electromagnetism is moved by feelings, which are thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions. The wave and the particle, the creation.
In fact, the title of Monor comes from this word, monada. Explain a little bit more, please.
Of course, M-O, means human lineage, and Nor, N-O-R, means light, our inner light. So Monor means enlightened human beings, with all our power.
So, if we have been cheated with this universal law, can we claim our rights?
We are doing it right now. We can claim our rights and our lefts too.
Our rights and our lefts.
Right and left. Left is also called sinister, but it's sinister for them, not for us. That's why women, more leaning to the left side, the creative one, have always been left apart. Because femininity is more dangerous for the system than masculinity. It is a very sophisticated and ample farce. And you have to have holistic knowledge to understand all this matrix.
This matrix or womb is like a theater play, where we are the actors and we are playing our roles. And now the word treatment comes to my mind. This word has different meanings, such as behave towards and to attempt to cure, but also a surprise, like in Halloween, treat or trick.
Yes, a treatment in our mind, since ment in Latin is mind.
This is also why doctors don't treat us in an emotional way.
Yes, they have made us believe we are not capable to heal ourselves biologically. And if we believe it, we will create this reality. Because to believe is to create. If we create the paradigm we have been taught, it will be real.
Yeah, for example, the ones who could really do this very well were the Aborigines in Australia.
Right. Like the ones who could create rain. Because they believed they were going to get it, and they got it. But now, as we consider ourselves nothing, we will achieve nothing.
And they are going to keep on sucking our energy.
Of course, using us. As as we also do with other species, since we have been also programmed to be predators. But I think this is not essential. We have the Hansa tribe, for example, between India and Pakistan, who live around 110 and 120 years. And they don't take any animal protein. And this is curious. They have their own language.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But if we look at our DNA, until what age do you think we could live?
Well, I'm not really sure. But first of all, let's get rid of these resistances, and then we'll see until where we can go. Because we live cloistered, manipulated, and in a constant collapse. We are not allowed to walk with our potential. They use us for their own benefit, not for ours.
I don't know if you realize that this information is a bombshell. So, if you can understand all this up to now, and you read the book, and you apply it in your daily life, you will be free.
Yes, for me, this is the path of real freedom. To be in coherence and to empower ourselves. In the end, the only cheater is our subconscious, since we have been feeding it with wrong information. It is high time to change.
Okay. But to feel free, you have to have tools, and this book is a fantastic tool.
The most important thing is to understand that you have to feel what you want without any justification, and to create holograms with the pineal gland without any premise. Because if you desire something, it's because it is possible. Otherwise, you wouldn't desire it. Another question is if you will get it or not. You cannot desire anything that cannot be possible. This is why we have a spiritual body, the quantum body, which is outside and sees all the possibilities and sends you information. It tells you what you can do. This is the supraconsciousness, what I call the child. The subconscious, which is the grandfather, the lineage, and us, the consciousness.
How can we call this greater or less degree state of collective hypnosis?
Awakening. And every day we are more and we will be more.
Yes.
When you are hypnotized, you really believe it. You cry, you sweat, you live in an imaginative reality. But as you live it, so it becomes real. Another example, when we go to the cinema, we also suffer, laugh, cry. We feel even when we know it is not real.
It's true.
And what's even more, the screen is not usually three-dimensional. So the subconscious doesn't distinguish between reality and fiction.
Does it mean that through fiction we can create realities?
Right. And that's why we live in a fictitious world, but we create real realities.
It is usually said that the world is a lie.
Exactly. Because it is not our world, not the one we desire.
It has been imposed to us.
Right. We are imprisoned and submitted.
And what's the meaning of science fiction movies for you? Because they are maybe talking about a reality which already exists.
Sometimes they talk to you about reality and they put it as fiction. But also the opposite, they talk about reality and it is fiction. But as you think it is real, you create it. For example, we have two friends. One of them believes in UFOs and the other not at all. They are having dinner on the terrace and suddenly there is an orange ball speeding in the sky and it disappears instantly. The one who believes in UFOs will see the ball directly and will turn his head instinctively where the signal is. And the one that doesn't believe in UFOs will be probably looking other side, so he won't see it. But even if he sees it, he won't believe it because it is not integrated in himself. He won't recognize it in his reality. Because there are many worlds inside one world.
Many worlds inside one world.
Inside one world.
It means that everyone can see up to we are allowed to see by the system.
Naturally. And talking about programming, we have two linked words. Look and lock. Then they program us lock what you want to look at. Another couple of words that really surprises me are to live and live. Where should I live? Here or there? Should I stay or should I leave? Then, if I stay here and I don't leave, I am not alive. I am a zombie. There is a secret. Well, a secret. A secret is never a secret because it secretes, it flows. In my research, I've recognized all the phonetic links from the origin with the different meanings of every word. And especially the lexemes, the roots of all words which are understood by our subconscious and also anchored in our ancestral memory. Our genetic code. Here lies the secret. Here lies the secret, which a lot of lies. If our subconscious connects with our DNA and it recognizes the real meaning of the words, we become our own decision makers. And we can walk freely, without shackles in our feet. And we can be in coherence. But we have Hebrew, for example, which is a very different language with their own symbols. When they try not to mix the lineage, is for not being in conflict with the language programming that are frequencies in the end.
So, for example, if Chinese and Africans get mixed, they will be in conflict because of the two very different kinds of programming.
Exactly.
Because they separate us geographically in different continents to have these frequencies well separated.
Right. And then they begin to join us to generate conflicts, wars, which are human sacrifices, moving everything through logos. Soldiers, for example, work under collective hypnosis and have their own code, so they are easier to manipulate. Let's take a look at the word order. Or, in Babylonian, means to serve and also light. And there, forever, therefore. Order means to always give our light. They finally lead us to death with these orders through language.
Sergio, what about the word war?
War is linked with word, world, and work. And worth it. Worth it. They say to us, the war is worth it. Can you understand? Can you understand?
And why do you think there are different human races?
In my opinion, they have a plan. They experiment with us in the same way we do with crossbreed dogs, for example. And every race has been designed for a different purpose. Like Africans, to use them where strength is required. Asian people are good for cloning because of their ability for capturing images, like their writing. I want to remark one important thing. The feeling is created by our thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions. Thought rules and emotion creates. But if we are cheated in the direction we should take, we'll create wrongly, where they want. It is important to realize that we must reorientate ourselves, even they already tell us where we should orientate ourselves, to the Orient and not to the North.
Reorientate, orient.
To orientate to the Orient and not to the North. The programming that has been imposed wants us to lose our orientation, because if we orientate toward the Orient, we lose our light, which is in the North. We lose our focus. Remember that a compass always shows the North. Therefore, if we don't have light, we don't know our way. And if we orientate to the North, where the light is, we are not oriented to the Orient. And in this way, we don't know our way either. As you can see, with this programming, we are always in a state of confusion.
So, what can we do to get away from this state of confusion?
What we feel is what we project. So it is really important to feel good above all, Rosanna. Because this is the reality we will live. We will live. And if you feel bad, you will create your bad reality. You will live a shitty reality. And this is what they really want from us.
Then we should always be happy.
Yes,
Okay.
because that is our natural state. But as we are in high frequencies, this is usually unachievable.
Unachievable, okay.
One way to feel pure happiness is to try to reconnect with our child. Try to remember how happy we were when we were kids.
But when we are children, we also depend on our mom, so we are not really free. We are part of the matrix too.
Yes, it's true. And besides, not everybody had a happy childhood. There are also restrictions coming from the clan, like family customs or religious beliefs. And on the other hand, we have also programming and learning received in this reality full of restrictions or limitations.
But from the age of 5 or 7, we begin to lose our extrasensorial powers like telepathy because we disconnect from our source.
Well, it is important to understand that through logos, they influence on us, establishing beliefs without having experimented them before. Words are already implicit in our ancestral memory. What they have made from the origin is a kind of semantic braid, not only polarized, but also extrapolarized, so we cannot perceive it. Then, when we have a purport from our intention, we harvest the opposite of what we wanted. We feel frustrated, and like that, we become slaves of the system.
What does the system do to us?
Well, the system confuses us. They program us not to have self-esteem. In that way, we don't believe in ourselves, and they make us fail. And later, they create systems like religions to receive us with their arms open, telling us, we are here to save you. When it's them who create the human conflicts. To be a bee or not to be a bee? That is the question. As Shakespeare used to say, we are worker bees. Believing we can become queen bees, but we will never get it. We will never achieve anything unless we free ourselves.
Sometimes we think we are a mistake of the nature, but in fact, we have been mistaken without being aware of it. But now we know it. Well, Sergio, this is the end of the first video of the presentation of your book and your discovery. So we hope we have given hints for you to change your life. We wait your questions and comments, and of course, this is just the beginning. More and more interesting things are coming very soon. Thank you, Sergio, for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for being there.
Kisses.